Welcome to All Things Marketing Podcast, the podcast that talks all things marketing for both franchise and multi-location marketing leaders. ATM is brought to you by PureDriven. We'll show you how to turn your brand into a money-making machine. Here's your host, Steve Rockwood.
Hello and welcome to Franchise ATM. My name is Steve Rockwood. I am the marketing manager at PureDriven. Today we are going to talk about how to successfully award franchises to new franchisees. I'm joined by special guest Patrick Daugherty, franchise development manager at Clean Juice. Patrick, how are you today? And I feel like I messed up your last name, so if you want to correct me, go for it.
You had it pretty close. Yeah, thanks, Steve. It's Patrick Daugherty. Definitely glad to be on the podcast. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. So if you just want to give me a quick rundown of what you do at Clean Juice, what is your primary day-to-day function, Patrick?
Definitely. So my role at Clean Juice is to walk candidates through the awarding process. So that goes from the initial phone call through the discovery phase, where I just let them know what Clean Juice is, let them know about the Clean Juice opportunity, give them a backstory on where the company's been and then where we're going as well. So we'll have a phone call. There'll be an application process. There's the disclosure of the franchise disclosure document, some things like that. And basically my goal is to bring them in for a discovery day, to bring them to meet the team, and then ultimately walk them through that process into the awarding of a franchise unit.
Awesome. So I know you are a big proponent of these discovery days. So what does Clean Juice do differently to make the discovery day so impactful on the new franchise?
Sure. So we really believe that Discovery Day is your day as a franchise partner candidate. We really believe that's a day for you to discover the Clean Juice opportunity, to meet the team, to meet with different of our leadership, and to see the stores in action. So we do our discovery days a little bit differently than others in the industry. One of the things we do is we have them as one-off. So when we have a candidate come through, whether that's a single candidate or a husband and wife or a family or partners or whatever it might be, that's their day. We don't schedule group discovery days. We simply focus on the individuals that we are bringing in from the areas they come from. And what that allows us to do is really to get to know those people well, get to know their heart and why Clean Juice, why they want to be a part of this opportunity. And that allows them to be able to feel, less guarded, to let their guard down and kind of let us know what interests them about the opportunity, where they resonate with the team. They also have an opportunity to share their business strategy as well. And then they're able to see the stores in action. So during a portion of the day, they'll go out into the store and they'll meet the teams there. They'll get behind the juice bar, make products, watch them cold press, and really see what it's like to be in the day in the life of Clean Juice. And they're seeing that as a unit. They're not seeing that as a group, or, there's no level of competition of any type. It's just really about them and making the day really special for them. And so we do that because we value the partnership that we have with our franchise partners. We see each one of them as members of the family, and we really emphasize how special that is from the very first day they get to meet with our team.
Yeah, it sounds like a really great experience for everyone involved. That's awesome how you do that. I know you're also a champion of franchises having a set process to awarding new franchisees. So after that discovery day, you have the award phase. Could you just tell us some of the keys to success that you found when creating that process?
Sure. So one of the things that we really try to establish is just transparency and clarity. We really feel like just setting the right expectations throughout the awarding process, and that really starts with that first initial phone call. So that starts with asking them questions about ownership, how they plan to operate their Clean Juice, asking them questions about funding, those types of things as well. And then really just letting them know that we're in this together. We're growing as a company. We're about 2.5 years old. We're now at 61 units that are going to be open. And so we really have grown tremendously fast, but we've also grown as a company and grown as a team along the way. We are quick to say that we don't know everything, but we're very confident in our systems. We're very confident in our processes, and we have seen tremendous success from franchise partners who are just a part of that picture. And so we set the right expectations up front. We are very transparent and clear with the process and how we move through the process, from that phone call, through the application, through the disclosure, through the discovery day, and then through what we call a preliminary approval. So when someone comes through, what we do is we begin to assume the awarding process and walk them through the awarding process after Discovery Day. So we meet as a team once a week to chat through Discovery Days as a leadership team and talk through the opportunity that we have to partner with a candidate that might have come in. And then ultimately, if it's a good fit for our team and a good fit for them on their front, we will reach out and issue them what's called a preliminary approval. And what that will do will be to take their area off the market for 2 weeks while we prepare their franchise agreement. And during that 2-week time, they're doing things like setting up their bank account, their business entity. They're working with our real estate team, who's very hands-on, to begin to issue LOIs for locations and working with a national broker to really hone in on the right spot. And we know that there's a lot of moving parts in that process. We know that can be somewhat overwhelming if someone isn't familiar with franchising and the pace that we go at. But what we do and what a lot of my role is to make sure that they have clarity and they have transparency throughout that process to make sure it's seamless, it's exciting, and the goal is always to get their store open as quickly as possible.
Gotcha. So it's a lot like buying a house, right? I mean, you get that pre-approval, you get it off the market once they accept your offer, but then there's still some stuff that goes into it once they accept the offer to actually finalize that agreement. Does that make sense?
That's right. Exactly. And, it just becomes a lot of moving parts because construction is a large part of the process. That's a large part of the development process. And every situation is different. We'll run into situations that maybe we have a location that's been a juice bar before. And so ideally upfit is not a big deal, but we have other locations where we have to do a lot of upfit or redesign or retrofit, or we have locations that aren't even ready yet. And so real estate is really more of an art than a science. And so what we know is that part of the process can potentially waylay people to some extent. And so we know if we guide people through that part of the process and make the tools they need, and that we're having the conversations that we should, that they're staying on pace and they're staying on track, and ultimately that they're excited about getting their clean juice open.
Yeah, definitely. So it sounds like you have a really great process. So as far as it's still a scary jump for people, even with a great process like that. So for franchisors that currently don't have a solid process like that of how they award franchises and how they support them in that process, is there any advice you can give from your experience to them?
Sure. I would say take a step back and look at your concept. That's been one of the biggest things that we've done as a company is look at the concept that we offer and how it's presenting itself to other people or to people who are interested in buying a franchise with Clean Juice. We're a young, energetic brand. We attract a lot of that type of people. And so a lot of times those people are young families, or maybe there's someone who's been in corporate America for just 5 or 10 years. And so I think taking a step back to analyze who you're targeting or who your primary franchise partners are really helps you to identify the steps in your process. For us, a lot of that's real estate, because a lot of our franchise partners come to us and they're very excited about a location. They love, the idea of putting a Clean Juice in their favorite shopping center or strip mall. And sometimes that works out great. Other times there might be a need to move to a different area, or kind of redirect a little bit due to rent prices or traffic or the right demographic being there, that type of thing. And so really looking at what those people are passionate about really helps to understand what you need to focus on in your process. Another piece of our process is funding. So again, going back to our franchise partners being that young, energetic group, a lot of times they haven't had the chance to gain the funding that some more seasoned partners would have. And so ultimately what we know is we need to be able to provide options for them to be able to be funded through, whether that's SBA or 401k rollover, those types of things. And so we've partnered with several really good funding partners to enable that to be a possibility for them as well as extending the ability to have them bring on partners of their choosing. If that's a friend or a family member, they can be an active or a silent investor. And all of those things really help to break down the barrier and to make the process smoother for our target franchise partners.
Awesome. I actually had a really deep conversation about the 401k rollover earlier today, and I learned a lot. I didn't know that was an option, and I learned about that today. So I'm glad you mentioned it. It just reinforces my learning. So my last question for you, Patrick, is what's your favorite part about working in the franchise world, whether it's with Clean Juice or just in this whole world of franchising in general?
Yeah, so as cliche as it sounds, I think it's making people's dreams come true. I love being able to walk someone from an introductory phone call through the process and watch them get awarded their franchise, because ultimately That's what they've set out to do in this process. Whether they're taking a step away from corporate America, or they're doing something to be closer to friends and family members, or they're looking for something to align with their values and their beliefs about health and wellness in our particular concept. Seeing them come alive when they come in for Discovery Day and meet our team, and when they're able to go into the stores and see the store in action and really just then believe that this is for them and see it all in motion. That's what really excites me about the franchise concept. It's definitely a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things along the way, and things can move very fast and move very slow. But at the same time, the ultimate goal is really just setting our franchise partners up for success. And I love seeing the success stories, and I love walking people through that process to be able to be another success story for Clean Juice.
That all sounds wonderful. It is a wonderful world. I've been in franchising for 5 years now, but I'm on the marketing side, so I'm not actually in the individual day-to-day work ethic. So it's cool to see, how franchises work and talk to people like you to really see how they're awarded and how the business operates. My final thing for you, Patrick, is if people want to learn more about Clean Juice or just talk to you directly, where would they go?
Definitely. So they can always check us out at cleanjuicefranchising.com. If you wanted to visit our company website, that's just cleanjuice.com. Our franchising is cleanjuicefranchising.com. You can always email me directly at patrick@cleanjuice.com.
Awesome. That sounds great. Well, that's all we have time for today, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me, Patrick. I would love to have you again, and I'm sure you'll be visiting us here on Franchise ATM again in the near future. We'll catch you here next time, right here on ATM.
Thanks, Steve.
You just listened to All Things Marketing Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast to catch every new episode every day. Want to be a guest on the show? Sign up at PureDriven.com/guest. See you tomorrow here at the ATM.